Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel and part 2 finally of the Jaguar XF turnaround project. So the first question is, why has it taken nearly 5 months since the last video? Well, the simple reason is the garage this car went to had a lot of change, a lot of people coming and going, new premises and so on. So it's been fitted around other work that they're doing. And that actually was the deal that I did with the garage that did the work on this car. So unfortunately, it has taken rather a lot more time than I had originally contemplated. I was hoping we could get this video or this car turn round, if you like, in 2 to 3 weeks, but I think that was a little bit optimistic, but there we go. So anyway, let me talk you through what we've done. I am driving it. This is my first time driving this car. I'll talk you through the work we've done, the next steps, and what we're going to do with this car. So what's this car had done to it? Well, I mean, I've got a massive bill on this car, and I'll go through all of my costs at the end of the video, alongside what I'm planning to do with this car as well. But this car's had the engine removed. It's had a new timing chain, new guides and tensioners. And what I've discovered is that this particular model of Jaguar or Land Rover with the 2-litre Ingenium engine, and I said this during my first video on this, it's known to have guides which break apart. They're in 2 parts rather than a one-piece unit. And what that means is that they then over time degrade, and that's why you get rattly timing chains on the Jaguar Land Rover engine like this. So anyway, I've had all of that replaced. I'll try and insert some pictures now just so you can see the engine out and you can see the new guides, but it's running absolutely beautifully. So we've had new timing chain, we've had tensioners, we've had guides. Whilst it was out, the garage also discovered an engine oil leak. So at the back of the engine there was a leak, but just by taking the engine out and refitting it, a new seal's gone in and that's been fixed. So that problem's now been solved. What we've also done is carry out a full gearbox service. So this has got the 8-speed automatic, the ZF gearbox, which is a pretty good gearbox. There was nothing wrong with it, but I just thought, given the amount of work that we're putting into the car, it's just good practice to change the gearbox oil. So they've drained all of that. They put a new filter on, and they told me that the oil was pretty disgusting. I didn't unfortunately get any photographs of that, but it was a brown colour rather than a nice sort of cherry red colour. So the gearbox is now good, and it's changing really very nicely indeed. So we've done that. We've then done a full service on the car, and when I say service, we've done everything. We've done all the fluids, the coolant, brake fluid, engine oil, of course, power steering. We've done everything. We've done every single filter, and they have gone through the car. They've also checked out all of the suspension, a couple of silly things which they've just adjusted as well on the underside of the car. So this car is now running absolutely beautifully, as you would expect. Now, there is quite a big bill that comes with it, unfortunately, but I'll go through that, like I said, a little later. But for now, I'm just going to drive the car, and I'll go show you some shots of it driving. Then we're going to go to the business of getting this car cleaned up, because it's not in a state, it's actually in quite good condition. You saw that in the part 1 video, but it really just needs a good deep clean. The interior needs properly cleaning and shampooing, all the leather needs treating, and then the outside we need to give that a really deep clean as well. We need to machine polish the paintwork and just get this car up to the best possible standard that we can. So that's going to be one of the next parts of this, and then, like I say, we'll run through at the end what we're going to do with it. So it's the next day. It's the big cleanup of the Jaguar XF. The weather, unfortunately, isn't really on our side today. It's chucking it down with rain, but nevertheless, we're going to crack on anyway. First thing I'm going to be doing is cleaning the engine bay, and for anybody who is going to start getting in the comments and telling me I'm doing it incorrectly, I'm sure that's fine, but I'm going to do it my way, which is the way I know. And that means we're going to soak all the engine in a degreasant. I'm using Bilt Hamber Surfex HD to do the majority of the cleaning on this car. I'm going to use a slow foam sprayer, agitate all the dirt, leave it for a good 5-10 minutes, then pressure wash it all off, and by which time the engine should be really nice and clean. I'm then going to run over it with a GT85 to protect any electrical components and make the thing look really good. So that's what we do. Let's crack on. So here I'm using my pump foam sprayer alongside a Bilt Hamber Surfex HD at a ratio of about 10:1. A small brush here just to agitate all of the dirt, get into all those nooks and crannies, and as you can see here I'm going over it several times and then pressure washing everything, just being careful of the electrical components. Right, so the engine's all clean. I call that a success. So now on to the wheels, and we're going to go around the door shuts of the car as well. Again, I'm going to use my trusty snow foam sprayer and a small brush, agitate all the dirt and pressure wash it all off. We should get the car really, really clean. That engine was absolutely disgusting. It's obviously never been cleaned in all of its life. So hopefully that's got rid of 6 years of dirt. And we'll run, when it's all dry, I'll run over it with some GT85 and just wipe it all over just to make sure the electrical components are fine as well. But otherwise, that's done. The next thing we're doing is we're going to cover the car in snow foam. We're going to go around again with a little brush, all the seals, all the nooks and crannies, the grille, all the areas around here, give it a really good scrub, then we're going to power wash it all off. So I'm moving on to the wheels using an iron fallout remover and combination of snow foam. I'm now going over the car with a snow foam alongside agitating all of the seals and areas, the grille pieces and everything else with a small brush. I'm leaving the snow foam on here to dwell for about 5 or 10 minutes, and a final coat of snow foam and then over with the pressure washer, and the car is now ready to be hand washed. Here I'm using Bilt Hamber Auto Wash. I will leave a link in the description for all of the products that I'm using in today's video, which will, as you'll see, bring this car back to a near showroom condition. The car's safely in the garage now, out of the way of the rain and the wind and everything else. I've dried it off, just given me a chance to take a quick look at the paintwork, and to be honest, it's not too bad. There are some swirls and some marks and things in it, but we can get them out with the machine polish very easily. Before we do that, I'm going to go over it with some tar and glue remover, which is really easy. Just spray this stuff on, it clings to the paintwork for a few minutes, then you just wipe it off, and this will just get rid of all of the tar, glue, tree sap, anything else is basically in the paint or sitting on the paint, ready so that we can get the most from the machine polisher. You can use clay. Clay is actually a little better in many ways. The problem with clay is it introduces even more problems with the paint, and you end up getting more marring and scratching, and it makes my life more difficult. I find this very effective since I'm using the machine polisher. Anyway, we can use this, go with the machine polisher, and the result should be really very good. This stuff is super easy to use. You simply just spray it on. It clings to the paint for a good 1 to 2 minutes. And as you can see, I'm running around the whole car with the spray, and then just going over and buffing it off very gently with a microfibre cloth. And as I'm doing that, you can feel all of the contamination coming out of the paint, and you can also see the tar and the dirt on the microfibre cloth. So the car is now getting into a much better stage, ready for that machine polish. Right, the car has been fully decontaminated with tar and glue remover, which has got rid of all the imperfections in the paint. Really easy process that. You just spray the stuff on, leave it for a couple of minutes, wipe it off, and as you're wiping it off, you can feel almost the grit coming out of the paint. The paint is now really smooth. So what I'm now going to do is start going over the car with the whole process of machine polishing. I will just show you on the bonnet. I've put a piece of tape here. I'll do one half of this and I'll show you what it looks like once I'm machine polished, and hopefully we'll see a big difference. I'm not going to film myself machine polishing the whole car because it's not going to be particularly interesting to watch that. But let's crack on with that and let's see what sort of improvement we can make to this paintwork. So here I'm using a Menzerna 3-in-1 cut and polish in one stage.
This is a really nice product, really easy to use, and it just saves me the hassle of having to go over in 2 separate stages of polish. So that's one half of the bonnet machine polished. Let's take a look. And as you can see, this half here has now been machine polished, and it's helped by the fact I've got LED lights in this garage you can actually just about pick out. But the paint wasn't too bad. So this is the half that hasn't been done, and you can just see in the light there the imperfection. The paint is clean, but you can just see the fact that it's got marring in it, it's got some swirls, and you can just make out that line here as well on the camera. So this is the side that has been done, and that's the side that hasn't. So this paint is now like glass. It's really, really smooth. There are a few stone chips, as you'd expect on a second-hand car, but really nothing major. I think this colour is Santorini Black, which is the Jaguar Land Rover colour, but it's in really good condition. It's now machine polished. So I will carry on. I will do the rest of the car. I'm going to follow this process all the way around. I'm not going to bother filming that because it won't be particularly interesting. And then we're going to put a coat of wax on it. And actually, by that point, we should be not far from finished. Off camera, I've applied a coat of double speed wax, again another Bilt Hamber product, which probably won't surprise you, and I think you'll agree the end result is really quite stunning. So the car is much better than I thought it would be. I've also deep cleaned the interior, although that wasn't actually videoed. So here is the finished result. The fully restored Jaguar XF returned pretty much to its full glory. Let me show you around what we've done. So, as you can see, the whole car has been machine polished. You've seen that just in the video clips that I've put in. We've got it back to really a very good standard now. All the wheels are done, everything's been deep cleaned. The interior, again, deep cleaned, all the leather treated. So this is looking pretty much, I just need to open it, back to a car that is, I wouldn't say brand new because it's done 135,000 miles, but it's certainly looking a hell of a lot better. So I'm really pleased with it. I think the question now is, what do I do with it? But before we talk through that, let's jump in the car, in the warm, and I'll talk you through the costs and really all the work this car's had done as well. So, what has this car cost to bring up to the standard that you now see it in? So I'll just run through all the costs. Now, I bought this car very, very cheaply. I paid £4,500. I think you know that from the previous video. So £4,500 was the auction price. When I purchased it, the cap clean, which is current auction price, was about £6,900. So I got the car very, very cheaply. But of course, I got it cheaply because it had an engine noise, which you just know on a car like this is the timing chain. So £4,500 was my bid on the car. I then had fees on top of that, taking the price to £5,061.30. And then I had delivery from Birmingham, or somewhere near Birmingham, to where I live. And that was £253.75. So I did an HPI check on the car, which was £9.99. So the actual costs of this car to the garage that did the work was £5,325.04. Now, the bill for the work that I've had done was £2,798.50. And then I've had an air con regas because the engine's been out, so the air conditioning fluid leaked out. So I've had to regas that. That was £129.99. So the car owes me £8,253.53. So that's what I'm in for. Now, the work it's had done, I talked through that earlier in the video. It's had the engine out, it's had a full timing chain, it's got the newer upgraded guides, upgraded tensioners, and an oil leak fix. So all of that has been done. It's also had a gearbox fluid flush, new filters, and a full service, all the fluids, everything else changed. So this car is really in fine fettle now, and the garage that did the work, really good local garage. They have all the correct equipment, all the auto data information, diagnostic equipment, and he's gone over the whole car. He's had it up on the ramp, he's checked out all the suspension, so the car is now pretty much perfect, and it's driving like it would have done when it was a year old. So really happy with that. I guess the question now is, what do I do with this car? Because I've driven it a little bit. I haven't driven it very much, but it's quite nice. It's doing 60 plus miles to the gallon on a run. and actually this could be quite a useful car just for putting miles on. So the question I now have is what I do with it. So I might have a go at selling it and seeing if I can sell it for perhaps 8, 7 or 50, just to make a little bit of money. But again, this was never really about making money. It was just about a project and some content for YouTube. So that's where we are. So anyway, that is the journey then on the Jaguar XF, which is now complete. Sorry it's taken longer than the original turnaround. I did think at the time I could buy this car from auction, get it delivered, and in a few weeks have it turned around and then out the door, but unfortunately it didn't work quite like that. But I think nevertheless the end result is really, really good. So anyway, that's the end of the video. Please do, if you like this video, please do like, please do subscribe, and who knows, perhaps we'll do another one very soon.